Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
Hey guys, this is David Triana of the Followers of the Force podcast. I wanted to let you guys know about my favorite Star Wars Celebration memory, and that was at Star Wars Celebration Orlando last year. I went with my dad, and we spent the night at the convention center on Wednesday night before the big 40th anniversary panel on Thursday. And it was the one panel we really, really wanted to get into, especially for him, you know, being a fan that went to go see Star Wars when it premiered in '77. And man, I'll tell you, the best moment of that night, aside from Harrison coming out, aside from that original cast, that Carrie Fisher tribute was probably one of the most impactful and moving things that I have ever been witness to. And to top it off, you know, we're all watching the stage and seeing Billie Lourd talking about her mother. And then you look to your right, you see the curtains open, and John Williams is there. And everybody just gasps, and then he literally silences the room with just a little, like, subtle lowering of his arm, like, telling everybody to quiet down. And then he just starts with Princess Leia's theme. To me, that has got to be the best Star Wars Celebration memory I've ever had. And granted, that's the only one I've been to, but for me, that's my pick. All right, guys. I hope you have a great show, and may the Force be with you, always.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 92. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm speaking from beyond the void.
You're in blackness.
In other words, my webcam broke. So, sorry, you won't be able to see me today. But you will be able to see our very special, esteemed guests. So please, welcome to the show, Danny and Kristen from Kessel Run Weekly.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for being part of the show. Also with me today is the great, the fantastic, the powerful Miss Heather Allred.
Hi, everybody. I'm back.
Yes, she's on a break, but now she's back. We are all the better for it. So please, welcome. And we've got the illustrious, the incomparable, the phantasmagorical, Mr. Todd Hoffman.
Thank you, sir, for those mighty compliments. I appreciate it. Always good to be here, and I'm happy that we have Danny and Kristen with us as well.
Yes, back for another round. They couldn't get enough.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. So you can check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. We want to know. Leave us a note about your favorite Star Wars celebration. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss our next live episode.
And see Aaron in the darkness.
Yeah, it's like tuning into a whodunit serial. Will he get his webcam fixed for next week? Tune in and find out.
Tune in and find out. That's right. Exactly.
That's once again at youtube.com/WSTR Media. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. You know, the world's not fair. You're trying to read a book, you're trying to drive, you can't do both. You got to pick one or the other.
Some people do, though. Some people do.
Some people get into accidents, though. Very costly, very time inefficient accidents, and potentially deadly. But hey, the world's not fair, but Audible's making it a little bit more fair. So, what if you could have somebody read to you while you drive? So much time recovered. You know you should read books. You know you should eat your vegetables. Hey, Audible can help you with one of those. So get Audible, get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/WSTR. Over 425,000 titles to choose from. They're adding more all the time. And hey, if you get your free 30-day trial and free audiobook and you're not happy, guess what? No questions asked. You could hit cancel on that subscription, and Audible will just be like, okay, fine, have it. But guess what? You get to keep that free book. So, hey, do the smart thing that you know you should be doing. Read some books while you drive, while you work. Help out your fellow podcast. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy.
It's a win, man. It's a winning.
Once again, that's audibletrial.com/WSTR. Win, 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 win. We are also brought to you by our merch store. Head on over to teespring.com/stores/WSTR media. teespring.com/stores/WSTR media. And hey, just in time for fall, you know that cold front's coming over Lake Michigan.
It is.
It's going to get cold soon.
Well, for us, not for everybody else.
For that Hoth-like winter conditions. Well, we're going to be prepared with our new hoodie lineup. That's right. We've got hoodies. It's got our logo on it. It says WSTR. It's pretty sweet. Pretty swag. If my webcam was working, I'd show you mine. But hey, we can't all win.
You just have to imagine. Just have to imagine. But you could be a winner by going to teespring.com/stores/WSTR media. Pick up a hoodie, pick up a t-shirt, pick up a mug, support your locally sourced, organically grown podcast. And hey, everybody wins. So, Todd, what are we talking about today? Well, later in the news, we're talking about Mandalorians, the episode 9 script, and the Russians are coming. So that's later on the news. So stay tuned for that.
The Russians are rushing on over here.
The Russians are coming.
The Russians are coming, man. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But for our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
We're talking Star Wars Celebration. So once again, we have our special guest here, Danny and Kristen from Kessel Run Weekly. And Danny, I don't know if you know this, but I have this thing, like phone envy, where you kind of look at people and you're like, oh man, they're having a great time. So I do this for like the big events, like, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con was just last weekend. And I was trolling for Star Wars Celebration last time, and I saw this dude just having a great time. And then I started seeing more of this dude, and it was you. And I was just like, I got to follow this guy. And then you got a podcast, and I secretly stalked you until we became friends online. So that's my confession. That's my confession.
That's the normal way people become friends, right?
Yeah. I think it's completely normal. I'm just like, this dude is having so much fun at Star Wars Celebration. I need to know what he's all about, so. But yeah, I do that like with every kind of con that comes out, just do start hashtagging stuff and try to follow things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is having a blast. So you're like ear to ear grinning, like in every picture. I'm like, this guy's doing it. So for those people that don't know, Star Wars Celebration is basically a Comic Con type environment for just Star Wars things. So it started way back in 1999 at the beginning of. They were starting to push the Phantom Menace, and it started in Denver. So, and now it's coming up in Chicago, and the Chicago will be the 13th Star Wars Celebration. So, I've been to 2, and I was at the one Celebration 2 and Celebration 3, which were both in Indianapolis. So Celebration 2 happened in 2002 to promote Attack of the Clones. And then Celebration 3 was for Revenge of the Sith, which happened in April of 2005. But that's the last time I've been at Celebration, and there's been a ton of them, in the middle there. Some in Europe, some in Japan. In fact, it's been in Europe 3 times. But Danny, which one did you go to, my friend?
I got to go to Celebration Orlando. I don't know what number that was, but it was actually the first celebration I had ever heard of. I didn't even know it existed. and it's the Mecca, dude. Like, it was amazing.
So kind of walk us through what you did, or how'd you get to Orlando? What did you drive, fly? Who'd you go with? Like, what happened?
Well, we hitchhiked the whole way. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
No, so I actually went with my dad. So I'm sure you've seen, he builds BB-8s, 3D printed, all that kind of stuff. He's part of the Droid Builders Club, and we had gotten an in with the club where it was like, hey, you know what? You come show your droid, which it was kind of unfinished at the time. But he was asked to come down and display his BB-8 and everything. And I got lucky enough to be invited along, which was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So Danny, I need to know if you can let me meet your dad so we can become besties. Because I am sort of obsessed with droids.
Oh, well.
That's all.
Well, what's funny is yesterday I went over to my parents and I rounded the corner and my old bedroom is now filled with droids. I walked around the corner and there's just a bunch of BB-8s looking at me, and I was like, oh, jeez. I think he's got, 4 now?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 now, yeah. Right. He's got BB-9E, BB-8, one that he's made, BB-R3A for my niece, Aria. So it's BB Aria. It's a pink and white one, and everything, which we're taking to Children's Hospital on Halloween, which will be really cool. But yeah, so that was my end to Star Wars Celebration. It was really fun. It was amazing.
So great.
That's awesome. Now, Kristen, you have not been to Star Wars Celebration.
No, I have not. I've kind of just not gotten into Star Wars over the last year. He's slowly been working his magic, trying to get me to fall in love with it.
She's been converted.
I have, and I've missed other Star Wars events because I was like, no, I'm not going to that.
The first Star Wars weekend, or I'm sorry, the last Star Wars weekend ever, she missed that one. I got to go to it, and she was like, no, I don't really like Star Wars. I'm not really into it. And that was the last one they were ever having, and it's your instant regret.
I went and watched whales jump in the water instead.
SeaWorld over Star Wars. So come on.
You're yeah, Kristen, you're okay with him. You were okay with him going when he went to Orlando. You're like, yeah, just go.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it was like I got the house to myself, so I was like, you can have fun. It's fine. I don't really want anything to do with Star Wars, so you have vacation. I'll have vacation. It's fine. So it was fun.
So at that time, Danny, were you already starting your podcast at that time?
I had started it as kind of, it was part of another podcast that I had gotten started with, and it was kind of a 5-minute news segment. And when I was down there, because I had no idea Celebration was a thing. I didn't know this many people were still this crazy about Star Wars. Like, I thought I was the only nerd just kind of adrift. And when I was down there, I was like, you know what? This is amazing. And like, I want to talk about this. And I had just gotten really into podcasting. And so I decided to take the 5-minute news segment and just be like, you know what? Let's make it a whole full-blown thing. So it's kind of the birthplace of Kessel Run Weekly.
Wow. There you go. Origin story right there. So obviously my esteemed co-host, Heather and Aaron, you have not been to Celebration either, correct?
That is correct.
No.
But hey, that's going to change next year because they're coming to Chicago.
Oh, very excited.
Yes.
So when the announcement came that it was coming to Chicago, did you finally convince Kristen that she needed to go, Danny?
I don't know that I really needed to do much convincing at that point.
No, not really. I was already I was really already set that we were going to go no matter where it was. It just really worked out that it's going to be in Chicago, which is a little bit closer because we were like, I think we were thinking it was going to be in California, like in Anaheim or something.
A lot of people did.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's not, honestly. But we would have figured it out, but I was already like ready to go. So
Nice. Yeah. So, what was some of the highlights for you in Orlando, Danny?
Well, I missed the 40th anniversary panel. Well, I got to see it on a screen, but that doesn't count. Because I wasn't really all about sleeping on the sidewalk and waiting for it. So I was like, you know what? I'll just catch that later.
Why don't you explain that to like people that might, well, again, like the three of the people in this pot that we're doing right now, they don't know about this stuff. So tell me about the long lines.
Oh my goodness. So it was a Reed Pop disaster. Reed Pop were the ones that were organizing the whole thing. It was insane. Like, I mean, even the Celebration store where you got like the things that said Star Wars Celebration on them was just a monstrous line. You would spend probably a day and a half just waiting in the line. Like, people would stay in the line overnight as long as they possibly were allowed to. And then on top of that, getting into the panels and stuff like that, like the 40th anniversary, Last Jedi, and the one with the Battlefront, all those, like, I mean, everybody was sleeping in the queues, and because I mean, they had said, "Oh, you don't need to do that, shoot people away the first day," stuff like that, and then it just ended up being, you know what, forget this. This is what's happening, kind of by demand, pretty much, because otherwise you weren't getting in. There was just no way. And I'm not much for sleeping on the floor.
So did you have to get like wristbands or something to get in there?
Yeah, there were wristbands. They were pretty much gone within the first like 5 seconds of them being available. I wasn't able to really get anything other than like the outside panels. I got to see Ian McDiarmid, Ray Park. I got to go to the Rebels panel because I had gotten a press invite for it. So I was lucky there. That was another one that was really, really high demand that I almost missed. But I mean, other than that, like, I mean, other than like the side panels and things like that, I mean, I went to the 501st one. But other than that, it was like, okay, if you're not going to sleep on the floor, you're just going to go to the stage that's going to broadcast it and do what your phone is already doing to where you just watch it there. But I mean, it was cool watching, because I don't feel like I really missed a lot, especially with the Last Jedi panel, because you were kind of with your people, you know, and the room was just electric when they showed the first trailer and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, I don't feel like I missed out on an experience of anything. It'd been cool to see them in person, but at the same time, like, it was just like, I mean, I remember tearing up to that first trailer just because it was just the motion in the room was just insane. You making fun of me?
No.
But yeah.
You were crying?
Teared up, not full blown. Wasn't sobbing in the middle of a crowd.
There's a distinction, yeah.
Yeah, right. There were tears.
Oh my goodness.
So what was like one of your highlights of the trip, Danny? Besides seeing, you know, the Last Jedi trailer and all that.
My overall highlight was, I mean, really getting to spend time with some of the family that I had down there as well that met up with us one day, and getting to parade the droid around with my dad. Just seeing the reactions, seeing everybody's costumes. Because I never really was like, oh yeah, I guess at first, the first couple of days I was like, I'm going to do every panel, and then my legs gave out. So didn't quite work out that way. So I mean, at that point I was kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna enjoy it. And so I kind of walked around, looked at everybody's costumes, and got to see the different things. My dad got to meet Brian Herring, which was really neat. We had a whole cosplay planned out for it, but again, we were just completely tired. It was like, no, we're just gonna roll the droid up to him and let it be. But I mean, I think spending time with my dad and just kind of among people that are like-minded and that love this thing called Star Wars as much as I do. And I don't know, it was cool. Like I've told Kristen 100 times, it's like you're at home with your people. It's like you just don't want to leave. It's really great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Except for the long lines. That's the only problem. Yeah, exactly. So what are you looking more forward to for in Chicago?
In all honesty, my entire family is going to get to go this time. So I'm really excited about getting...
What?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about getting to see all of their reactions to this amazing get-together of a ton of Star Wars fans. One highlight, and it's not Celebration, but I mean, it has to do with this. We went through and rewatched the entire saga. And a lot of the times, like Kristen has seen them all, but until we really started diving into the story and talking about the story, none of it really clicked. And so for a lot of those movies, it was like she was seeing them for the first time. And just seeing her face light up at different moments that were my favorite, or her finding things that I didn't even think about or didn't consider or didn't even realize it was there. It was cool. And I'm really excited for things like that in Celebration, where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is heaven on earth.
Kristen, what are you looking more forward to in Star Wars Celebration here?
Ooh. Honestly, I'm probably looking forward to the most would be the cosplayers, because I think that's what's going to draw me in the most. I mean, I think depending on what panels they have, I'll probably be interested in going to one or two here and there. I say that there'll probably be a ton of amazing ones. I'm going to be the one zooming through the lines like, let me through. But for the most part, right now, I think the cosplay is going to be my favorite part.
Nice.
And then also our favorite podcast,
Heather, what do you?
Chicago, so.
Yeah. Oh man, playing to the host. I see what you're saying. Heather, what are you most looking forward to?
Meeting my new best friend Kristen at Star Wars Celebration. You boys go do your thing. We're gonna go hang out with all the cosplayers, I think. I mean, obviously I'm taking C2E2 and I'm exploding it in my brain a little bit with just Star Wars, and I just want to see costumes and I want to see droids and just the level of commitment to the fandom of the universe, and probably little kids in costume, because that just doesn't go wrong really ever. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's, and just taking it all in. I mean, it'll be weirdly emotional because I'll be doing this major Star Wars thing without Bruce. And so hopefully just have an opportunity to kind of delve into it more than I have in the past. And just get a little deeper into my brother's brain of what makes Star Wars so
amazing.
Great. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. Same question. What are you looking most forward to?
Well, obviously, Star Wars Celebration is where they drop a lot of juicy information on upcoming Star Wars things. So,
yes,
I'm really looking forward to that. It never ceases to amaze me how inventive people can be with cosplay. And so seeing that and hopefully participating, I'm really looking forward to that as well. But probably what I'm most looking forward to is just hopefully we'll be able to interview people again. And there's a million different answers for why people like Star Wars and how they got into it and what it means to them. And for people all over the country and probably several countries that are coming in to experience this, I'm really interested to learn all those stories and figure out, try to get to the bottom of what makes Star Wars so unique and interesting and attractive that it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, Danny, did you meet anybody from like overseas or did you meet anybody like that, like other countries?
Well, there was one point where we were, we did a very poor attempt at a live something when we were there, but internet was just terrible. But I got to talk to a lot of different cosplayers, and Actually, some podcasters I didn't even know were podcasters at the time. Met Steele Saunders and the Rogue Rebels, a bunch of them. And so, but as far as overseas, there were a lot of cosplayers I got to talk to that came from overseas to Florida. The whole time I'm like, it's dedication. I think I met one couple that came from Ireland. They were dressed as Disney
cool.
princesses, but as Jedi, which are really cool. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Because I mean, if you're going to come that far,
that's like right up your alley,
right? But I mean, if you're going to come that far, I mean, might as well go ahead and go all in.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I like, for me too, I'm just excited to see the level of cosplay. I was introduced to 501st when I went to Celebration 2, and I was waiting in line to get into Celebration, and they were across the street lining up for a photo shoot. And I'm just like, what is all this stuff? What are all these stormtroopers? What is this? And I found out a little bit more. I'm like, I have to be in the 501st. And so now coming full circle, this will be my first Celebration and the 501st. And cool. I am so excited for that. Yeah, that's probably the most rewarding thing. Like I said I was going to be in the 501st. It took me many, many years, but I'm in, and we're going to try to get Heather in before Celebration 2 as well. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward
Kristen
to that.
Wants to be a Ewok, so.
The hope is to be a Jawa and chase all the droids.
There you go.
Yes. And maybe take one or two, right, Heather?
I mean, that's what my job would be, right? Is just to pick them up and take them. So.
Yeah.
It would be disappointing if you didn't. This is staying in character.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, your dad has a couple, so maybe he can, let one go for a second or two,
strapped to my back or something.
Right.
They're almost like his children.
To see here,
so
nothing to see here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right.
Yeah. We're not trying to steal kids here. That's not good. That's not good. That's not cool.
So this is not the First Order. Got it.
Yeah. Right. No, we'll leave that to the First Order. Exactly. So what are some tips, Danny, that you can give to our fellow listeners about Star Wars Celebration if they've never been?
Right.
Including the 3 that haven't been here. So.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, it's just take it in. Because I tried to do everything every day, like my list of panels and where I wanted to be, and I was going to meet Ashley Eckstein, and I was going to meet this person, and I was going to make sure that I was here for this and that and everything. I mean, it was exhausting. I don't regret it, but my body was not thanking me for it. And so, I mean, it's just take it in. Find the things that you're really excited about and go after them, and just enjoy the rest of it. Because 98% of the fun is being around your people, being around the people that love this crazy thing called Star Wars. And I mean, where else are you going to find some place where you have that much in common with that many people in the world? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's magical.
Yeah. So basically comfortable walking shoes, maybe a sleeping bag if you want to sleep, in line,
Tent. I don't know. Small camper.
Yeah. So for Celebration 3, when I went, that was the first one that George Lucas came to since like 87. There was like a Star Wars thing for, he did like way back in the day, but George Lucas actually came for Celebration 3, and people wait in line for all night, like overnight, and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that, and they did like 3 sections where they did like a half an hour of like Q&A with George, but you had to wait in line the whole night. I'm like, No. So, but I did wait in line. I got up at like 2:00 in the morning to go wait in line they had the exclusive Darth Vader with the new recorded lines from James Earl Jones in the action figure. And you push a button and he said some lines that were newly recorded.
Okay.
So I got a whole case of them.
Nice.
I waited in line from like 2:00 till when the store opened like at 8 with my best friends that I didn't even know. But yeah, I did that.
Did you scalp them?
That was fun. What was that, Aaron?
Did you scalp them?
I did scalp a couple at the show.
The honesty.
Boy.
But well, this is so the way they worked, I don't know how they did it and how they do the store now, but back when they did the store in Celebration 3, you had to have a pass, and then you can only get it punched so many times for certain things. So a couple of my friends went just one day. So I grabbed their passes. I grabbed my wife and my son's pass and my pass, and I was able to get 17 of them based on the tickets. So I just grabbed them all, and I sold a couple right there on the spot, and then I went the rest to eBay and some to my friends, and yeah, I made a good buck out of them.
I can imagine.
So then, how much money am I bringing to this thing?
A lot.
Well, am I taking out a loan? Like, what does that look like? Yeah.
So the tickets are, pretty inexpensive, right?
Yeah.
No, a lot. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of things that I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to part with you because I need a ride home. So, yeah.
You're like, I need to eat. So,
yes.
Yeah, I can't buy this.
I went as long as I could, and then my stomach was like, you know what, Danny? Be kind.
Yeah, I mean, because like the store has its own exclusive stuff, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're pretty expensive to begin with,
They are. They absolutely are. So you wait in line for hours to buy this expensive exclusive thing that like maybe 20 people might get. So yeah. It's a grand time.
Yeah. So what other things is everyone else looking for Star Wars Celebration Chicago? Anything else?
Well, I hear you guys applied for the podcast stage, so I'm rooting for you there.
Oh, well, we appreciate that.
WSTR live on stage.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, I heard about that last time with Orlando. I'm like, oh, they had a podcast like kind of panel. I was like, wouldn't that be cool to just be on stage and just kind of just soak it all in? Just like, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. And we're local to the area, so we've got to be a shoe-in.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know.
Well, we could definitely have you guys. If we do get on, you're going to be invited on stage anyways, Kristen, so don't worry. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, because basically, all right, here's the pitch. The pitch was because they asked a bunch of questions when you filled out the form, and you had to kind of list like, okay, what are your 3 top favorite podcast topics that you did recently? So we had to list those. And then one of the questions was basically, what would you talk about? And the easy answer I thought was like, well, why Star Wars? Why do you love Star Wars so much? And I thought it'd be good to have those different perspectives. And Aaron just touched on it. Like when we kind of interview people, it's kind of interesting to hear what's that anchor that got you into Star Wars, or what are those things that got you into Star Wars, or why do you continue to like this movie that came out 40 something years ago, and what better people to have on the stage than you two as well. So, it'd be something cool to kind of talk about. And then also that's a super easy audience participation, like get to the mic, like what's your favorite character? What's your, like all this kind of stuff, or what's that one thing that got you into Star Wars that it's pretty easy to get involvement in that, so that's the pitch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
If they
That's
take
awesome.
it, all right, great. If they don't, we'll see. So
For sure.
Well, I don't know about them, but we're sold.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the other thing is just like you said, Danny, is like just the people. It's just like meeting people that have the like-minded, and it's kind of cool to talk about that. And people also have theories, Danny, just like you, and it'd be good to kind of talk some theories and what's going to happen, what's happening, so.
And it's always fun too to see the different kinds of people that are there in fandoms. It's not just a middle-aged white man or a young pup anymore. Just to see the spread with with Finn's character and just all the new females, star power and stuff. So just to see how the fandom expands, I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I might have to sleep on some concrete because I want to see an episode 9 trailer at Celebration. I don't know. I mean,
I'll do it.
When they did. Okay. I mean,
then Kristen and I will go get a hotel room while you guys do that.
We'll save the spot. We'll just save the spot because seeing that happen with JJ when he dropped the Force Awakens trailer at Celebration, and then took him to a concert right afterwards, and then just seeing the Last Jedi trailer drop too, I was just like, that's something I want to experience in person, with my fellow Star Wars friends. I think it would be a very cool experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you have it. Well, what are some before we move on to news of the week? What are some things, Danny, that any other survival tips for our listeners about Star Wars Celebration?
Bring snacks when you can, because Papa John's pizza it starts to weigh on you a little bit. And hot dogs. Bring snacks, comfy shoes. That's probably the best. Water. your basic park going things.
Seriously,
the things that you would take to Disney, take those.
Yes,
Smart.
yeah.
Minus the sunscreen. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be outside. Let's be honest, but still,
right.
Unless you're sleeping on the concrete like Todd,
it's going to be That's the thing with Chicago. You never know. It might be winter-like temperatures in April, or it could be spring-like temperatures. You never know. Or you could have both in the same day.
Sounds like Alabama.
It could be, yeah. It could be
so
snowing in the
true.
morning, and then the afternoon there might be some sun. So you never know especially in April. So there you have it.
Oh, Chicago.
Well, we are, one of the things, I mean, before we go to News of the Week, I'm excited to meet you guys at Star Wars Celebration, because now you're going to be in our backyard, you know. Yeah. And I might have been a little too excited when they announced it, because I was like, at first I thought, they're lying. There's no way it's going to be in Chicago. Like, I thought it was a lie when I started seeing it on social media. And I might have screamed really loud when we did our podcast the next time around. It's like it's in Chicago, guys. If people are coming like from overseas and we don't go to this, I'm like, we have to go.
Oh, absolutely. Go. Yeah. So we're excited to get to meet you guys.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. So did you guys do a 5-day, or are you going the full 5 days?
Yeah, we're going the entire time. Yep. Did the same thing in Orlando. 5-day or bust, man.
Right. Just can't take it in all one day,
I'm telling you. I don't understand some of these people who are like, oh, yeah, I'll just go this day, and this day. It's like, no, like, you're there. Be immersed in it. Like, just live in it.
Live in it.
I mean, let's be real. We're going to do that when Galaxy's Edge comes out anyway. So,
yeah. We were kind of joking. I was like, I think my dream would be, let's just do a podcast at the cantina and just sit there all day and just watch people go by,
Definitely.
Yeah. So when this episode drops, we will literally be like 6 months out from Celebration. So it's getting really, really close. So if you didn't get your 5-day, it's already sold out. I think Saturday is also sold out. So right. You gotta pick and choose now if you haven't. But yeah, Star Wars Celebration is where it's at, and it's going to be a good time to see all our fellow Star Wars fans be immersed in a couple days of just having fun about Star Wars. All right, let's, Aaron, why don't we move to News of the Week?
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
All right. Everybody knows we're going to talk about this, so I'm just going to scream it from the rooftops. The Mandalorian! We got the Mandalorian. So,
my goodness.
Johnny Favreau dropped news on Wednesday about the live-action Star Wars show that he's been...
Right after our episode dropped, we're like, oh, really? Yeah. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. So, he's been working on this for quite some time, and we finally have a title and more information. It's called The Mandalorian. So,
wow.
The Mandalorian is set in the unknown parts of the galaxy, and like Favreau's quick synopsis says, it centers around a lone gunfighter who also happens to be Mandalorian. So, here's what you need to know. Mr. Dave Filoni will be directing the first episode, and other episodes will be directed by Thor Ragnarok's, I'm going to butcher this, Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, Deborah Chow from Jessica Jones, and Rick Famuyiwa from Dope. Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy are joining Favreau as executive producers. And alongside this announcement, the very next day, we got the first set photo from the set. And wow, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
We see the Mandalorian himself, whoever he is. We don't even know who the actor is yet.
We don't.
But it is the design of the outfit is basically ripped straight from that canceled Star Wars video game that everybody was looking forward to, Star Wars 1313.
I know. I'm still bitter about it.
Yes. So it's rumored that the actor behind the famous bucket helmet is none other than Pedro Pascal of Game of Thrones fame. Not confirmed yet, but that's what we're hearing.
That's my fan guess.
Yep. So The Mandalorian will be coming out on Disney's new streaming service, Disney Flix, sometime next year. But oh my goodness, I'm so happy about this because
Danny and Kristen, do you want to weigh in on The Mandalorian?
Oh, absolutely. When I saw it, I actually thought it was a game capture, like somebody like edited Battlefront 2 or something like that. I was like, there's no way this can be real. This is not real. And then seconds after, StarWars.com was posting everything everywhere, and I was like, oh my God, it's real. Like, lost my mind. And then immediately I sent it to Kristen.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love new Star Wars. So, and even though it's technically not new, but it's new to us, I guess. So, I'm excited.
Very excited.
Awesome. Heather, what do you think? What do you think about it?
I'm super jazzed.
Jazzed?
I reserve that word for very special things. Right. I think I said in a previous podcast that I'm really all for exploring parts of the universe that have only ever really been hinted at. And so I'm excited to see where the story goes. Right. The photo we got looks really gritty, which makes me happy. Just it's, not this fluffy thing, but it's also not like too dark. It's that good balance of grit. So I'm excited. Or jazzed. Well,
yeah. Jazzed. Like jazz hands. No, I think it was making making Star Wars said something that it might be set in Mandalorian. I was like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. And then we got that picture with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni at like Skywalker Ranch. I'm like, ooh, if they're partnering together, that could be magic right there. And that the fact that now they're kind of doing what a lot of these TV shows are doing is like doing the guest directors for each one, and having Filoni do a directing spot for the first one. I'm like, that dude is George Lucas Jr. So I'm totally in with Filoni touching something that's live action, not just animation. So yeah,
stepping stones to the movies,
and it's Mandalorian. What's that?
It's stepping stone to giving Filoni a movie.
And to be honest, I think that's what it is. I think it's like, let's see how he handles the TV show in a production that is pretty ginormous in value. See how he handles it, and if he can handle it, let's do it. I mean, he was already on the set for Rogue One with Chopper, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think this is just a stepping stone for his own little Star Wars story. So I'm in. All right, Heather, what's up next?
Possibly something not as exciting, but still exciting. The Lost Empire documentary. So a YouTube user has uncovered a gem that was long thought to be lost. The Making of the Empire Strikes Back by Michael Parbot?
It's like Lobot. It's like Parbot.
Parbot. Yeah. Sure. Parbot. Yeah. Wouldn't the T be silent?
It looks French. So let's say Parbot.
Michael Parbot.
Well, because he has no A in his name either. So it's like Michel Parbot.
Thinks he's better than us.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that guy takes a fascinating look into the film, and it has a lot of really great moments. So one of the highlights, Irvin Kershner. What happened to like Mike Smith and like John Adams? What are all these weird names?
It's too many.
So Irvin is talking about why he thinks Star Wars as a fairy tale more than a science fiction. Quote, "It's a fairy tale. That's the environment, the context. You can do anything. If I believe it when I do it, the audience tends to believe it too." End quote.
And that's pretty much true.
Yeah. So, yes. So thoughts, friends?
Yeah, I've only watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool to find something that hasn't really been publicized a lot. So I'm always cool. And plus Empire is like my favorite movie. So I'm really ready to dive into it. But Kirshner has a point, because we talked about this, with The Last Jedi, space bombs, there's no gravity in space, but somehow they go down and we still believe it. And there's a lot of science. Star Wars and science do not coexist too much. And it really is more of a fairy tale kind of setting. So
space fantasy.
Space fantasy. That's right. Now, Danny and Kristen, did you get to watch it, or have you seen any clips from it?
We have not. This is actually the first I've heard of it, and I am really excited or jazzed. Very excited about it. I definitely want to dive into this because I love Empire too, and I love seeing the thought that goes into the movies and the storytelling and everything. Because it's just, I don't know, I watched a little bit of the Last Jedi commentary and everything, and just hearing how Rian Johnson's mind works and different directors and stuff like that. I don't know. It's cool. It's like you get a whole nother kind of insight into Star Wars that way. So I'm definitely going to be watching it.
Yeah. Especially it's on YouTube. Right. It's free.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. Aaron, did you get to watch it at all or no?
I haven't been able to. #school, #student life. But, it's on the list. I will get to it. But I am really curious because you don't tend to think of films from that era as having quote bonus features like a documentary or behind the scenes or outtakes even. But this is the internet now, and so all of that just kind of pops up now. So it's pretty interesting that we kind of get that look behind the curtain so many years later.
Yeah, and if I would add too, it sounds like this really seemed unknown. Like they didn't know like this existed, because there's been a couple TV specials like for Return of Jedi. They had like a little TV special about like the creatures and all that kind of stuff that actually aired on TV. But it sounds like this kind of went under the radar and like no one knew like this actually happened. So I'm kind of curious of like if there were going to be like really candid interviews and it's not really political or, that kind of thing, which is everything's more polished these days. So I'm kind of interested to see how that kind of plays out. So
do we know how they found this footage?
The magic of the internet. I'm not really sure.
So probably if it was found on YouTube, he started off with like a cat video, which led him to a giraffe video, which then led him to some kid and then some guy with lightsabers. And then there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Sums it up.
That's how YouTube works.
Every time.
Anyway. Sorry.
Right. Those deep holes. Exactly. All right, Aaron, what's going on? What else is going on?
Well, so this is the headline. Episode 9 script is, quote, amazing, end quote. So
it's jazzy. It's jazzy, man.
So Dominic Monaghan was added to the cast of episode 9 not too long ago. He and JJ, they're buds. They're reading the script on the Distraction Pieces podcast. And this is what he had to say. Quote, so I read it, and the script is amazing. Obviously, there isn't a lot I could say, he said, but he had already said quite a bit. So he said that even though shooting has begun, they started working on Act 1 of the story, and that Acts 2 and 3 would be later, and that Monaghan's character fits into all 3 of them. So
lucky him.
Yeah. That's a bit of an honor there.
Lucky me.
I mean, it's not unusual that, a movie like this that they'll shoot and then make modifications to the script as they go. But I'm curious just how much they're modifying. Todd, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless because they're filming episode 9. They're filming Mandalorian, and we're supposed to be in a slowdown. I'm just like, I can't handle this. They're filming new Star Wars right now as we speak, and I just can't handle it.
Celebrations in Chicago. I mean, it's too much.
It's too much. I can't take it. This is a path I could feel like I could keep on going on. The thing that really excites me about this, obviously he's going to say something positive of it because he's an actor he's like, oh yeah, it's amazing, but him and JJ are buds, which is true. And I feel like, that his character is going to be an integral part in the story. And, even if it's kind of a bit character, for whatever you want to say about Last Jedi, the way it ended, there's a lot they can do with it. Either way, you could say it's a mess or it was pretty tight. Whatever way, I'm really excited to see how this Skywalker saga closes. So, Danny, Kristen, what are your thoughts on this news?
Well, of course it's going to be amazing. No. No, I mean, in all honesty, we didn't hate The Last Jedi. We enjoyed it for what it was. There's always those moments where it's kind of like, I wish you wouldn't have done that. But like Luke throwing the lightsaber.
Right.
But I digress. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like I'm reserving a lot of my judgment of The Last Jedi to wait on 9 to find out how it's going to wrap it up. Because I mean, like we've said on our podcast, I mean, it's like judging the middle of a book. Like you can't just go to the middle of the book and go, you know what, this sucks, and then just close it. Well, this was going to be a terrible story. Well, you didn't finish it. So I think that with episode 9, I'm really excited to see how JJ is going to really sum up his trilogy that he started, finish what he started, if you will.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited about it, Kristen.
I mean, my thoughts are the same as yours.
Oh well.
So. I don't have much else about it.
No, Kristen, you didn't like The Last Jedi, so come on, give it to us.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on 9 here. I'm just trying to be positive. It's good though. It's fine.
I can feel her holding back right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There's just parts in it. I'm just cringeworthy, and then Rey's not my favorite character.
Happy
so
beeps.
I don't know. I can't really explain it. I just her face. Just like now, it's just things that she does. You know, like somebody makes you mad, they just breathe wrong. And you're like, stop it. That's kind of my point now with Rey. Like just the faces she makes. Now I'm just like, take it off. Stop it. I'm just at that point. I'm waiting.
Happy beeps.
Exactly.
Yeah, happy beeps is right. Exactly. Heather, what are your thoughts on this news that the script is amazing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of in your camp a little bit where, I mean, he's in it, they're friends. Yeah. He's not going to say bad things about it. I don't think he's wrong. I haven't seen the film yet to be able to disagree with him. I have to trust based on what I saw in The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. JJ knows how to make a film, so I'm not worried in that regards. But it's, Mary from the Shire, so I'm okay.
Yes.
You're good.
I'm good.
Aaron, do you want to weigh in on your own news bit?
Well, I don't know. It kind of feels like a PR fluff piece, if I'm going to be honest. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's being insincere or dishonest or anything, but why, if you're hired onto a movie, why would you trash talk it before you've even been filmed?
Right. You wait till it's released.
Yeah. So
you get paid.
You wait till the check is cleared.
Yeah. And if they're still working on Act 1 and 2 and 3, it's like, yeah, it's still in the oven. Let's wait till it's done baking.
All right.
Yeah.
We've seen Finn, Poe on a hill, Chewie's by a horse. That's all you need to know. And the Falcon is like in the woods somewhere. I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. That's all you need to know. Oh, man. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So this next news item, The Last Jedi can't get a break. This is probably, if it's not weird enough, it just, things got weirder. Okay. So as I teased earlier in the episode, the Russians are coming, man. So if you watch the documentary on the director and the Jedi from The Last Jedi, there's a bit in there where Rian Johnson says, I'm getting all these weird tweets from like Russia, he says in like this board meeting. Okay. So Morton Bay, who's a PhD, has been working on a scientific study to try to measure the online reaction of The Last Jedi. Okay. So he studied all the Twitter responses directed towards Rian Johnson for a specific amount of time. And he was able to determine that about 20% of the people tweeting at Johnson expressed negative views about The Last Jedi. But half of those people were motivated by politics or were confirmed as outright Russian bots or trolls.
What?
Which in his paper concludes that only 10% of those tweeting Rian Johnson were legitimate detractors. What do you think about that? Now we got Russians bots tweeting bad things about The Last Jedi. So, Danny, Kristen, what do you think about this news item?
You want to take this one?
I mean, someone had a lot of time on their hands, I guess. If they really hated it that much, they're like, I'm just going to make all these bots, and they're all going to tweet you and tell you they hate your movie.
I feel like there are other attacks that Russia could be doing or something more viable than The Last Jedi, but wow.
I mean...
Some angry basement Russians.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah. But I think the other thing, too, is like we kind of found this out with the Rotten Tomatoes review, too, because like all their user reviews were like they're saying, oh, there's like all these bots that like tweak the Rotten Tomatoes review of The Last Jedi as well. So this does not surprise me, but it's so weird. Yeah. Aaron, what do you think about this, man?
Well, does anything good come out of Twitter? Really? I don't know, man.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, it's a tongue-in-cheek reason why we named our next segment the Twitter Trash Compactor. But
yeah, it is.
Man, this study kind of answered a question I didn't really think I had or wanted answered.
Right.
Because I think we brought this up when we first discussed it. Is that, you know, I'm curious how much of this are like actual haters or haters is the wrong word. People who actually have criticisms against The Last Jedi that are more negative than positive.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess we never really got the answer to that, but now we have. I don't know why it's happening now, but
right.
I'm really curious that A, they were able to get funding for this study, and B, that we actually got results out of it. So, yeah, I'm impressed, and it really does go to show that negativity and toxicity online, even though it can feel overwhelming, if this study is correct, then it's really a loud minority of people, and most people are just satisfied and happy with how Star Wars is.
Yeah. I was gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go all the way back to our main topic, because I feel like this is probably a good point too. Because like, do you think we're gonna have any like toxic fans at Star Wars Celebration? Is that even like a thing? Could that be a thing?
It's possible, but human behavior is really, really interesting in that when you're online and you're in zero danger of any actual harm and nothing can really come back to you, really, you're in like a consequence-free zone. That's when people, I don't know, some evil nature of theirs just flicks on. They're like, oh, I'm going to say these things or blah, 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 I'm going to kill you and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as you like sit down in front of someone, unless you've just not been socialized well at all, there's going to be a part of you that's like, wait a minute, hold on. And I think it's some kind of survival thing where it's like, this other person might stab me, so best to get along with them. Or even if that's not the case, it's like, oh, this person, next time they find food or water in the wild, they're not going to share it with me if I am rude to them. So, maybe I better control myself, you know? So, and also, why would someone who hates The Last Jedi pay like $75 or whatever for a ticket to Star Wars Celebration just for the privilege of stirring up the pot and then getting thrown out? I mean, people are, like I said, people are interesting. Maybe they'll end up doing that, but I don't think it's going to be in the vast minority of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Agreed. What do you think? What do you think about that, Danny and Kristen?
I mean, I don't see that people really paying that much just to go ruin other people's experiences unless they're just crazy, honestly. But I mean, half of them I think wanted their money back for the tickets, and then the other half didn't even want to go see Solo. So it's like, you didn't want to pay $10 to go see a movie, and you want to spend almost $100, and that's if you're not even in Chicago. So I don't think it'll be worth it for them. They're just like, I don't even want to be a part of it. Just I'm done. I'm out. So.
Well, one of the first people that I talked to after the Last Jedi trailer when we were trying to do our live little thing that failed. Actually, the first person I asked if they liked it, because I was all hyped up and everything, they didn't like it. had a list of things why they didn't like the trailer and all this other kind of stuff, and I was just baffled. I was like, really? Were you in the same room? Like, but I mean, like, I saw that split of like people unsure about it then. As far as just outright being awful, I highly doubt it. Because like you said, I mean, they'll be quicker thrown out than anything. And I mean, who wants to spend that much for a ticket just to get thrown out and go, oh well, no refunds.
Yeah. Heather, what do you think about this?
I think we just need to remember that one burnt cookie doesn't ruin the whole batch.
Okay.
Well said.
Okay.
So
well said.
Thank you. I mean, I echo what Aaron has said in the past. I mean, there are pieces to the larger franchise, and sometimes you look at them individually, sometimes you look at them as a whole.
Yeah.
And you go back to very much the stories that we hear when Aaron interviewed at C2E2. We all come into Star Wars for a different reason.
Right.
Some of us are the dark side. Some of us are the light side. Some of us care about stormtroopers. Some of us care about Ewoks. Some of us convince our stormtroopers to love Ewoks.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Ted. Just go with it.
Yeah.
There's enough stupid stuff going on in the world. Let's not destroy one of the good things going on.
That's true. I seriously want a panel of Hayden Christian, Ahmad Best, and Kelly Marie Tran. Just get them on the stage and let's just cheer them for like 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Because I don't get it. I mean, well, even into that point, Daisy Ridley, because she's off Instagram too, because of stupid online troll people as well. So, it's like there's bigger things out there, and like you said, Heather. I mean, it's a small minority, but I don't think people would go to Celebration to boo Star Wars. I mean, it just seems so. It just seems counterproductive, but
yep. Anyway.
Stranger things have happened. We'll see. We'll see. Awesome.
Oh man.
Cool. All right. So what else is going on? I think that's it for the news of the week. All right. So we do the segment. Next up is Cantina Chat. All right, we're going to start with our guest. Have you guys done anything Star Wars-y or geeky this week, Danny and Kristen? Let's start with Kristen. Have you?
I don't think so. Nothing at all. I mean, just like throwing in random Star Wars quotes. Does that count? Just like day-to-day basis? Like, I don't know what I said the other day, but you looked at me and you're like, I'm so proud of you. So that happens pretty often, though. But
yeah, well, when we watched,
that's good.
Resistance
that's good.
last night.
We did.
Yeah, we watched the premiere of Resistance.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
That's good. And you liked it?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Cool. Nice. How about you, Danny? Anything else?
Sorry, pup's talking.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Heather has cats, so it's all good. It's all good.
What did I do this week? I watched Resistance. I helped my dad with the droids for a little bit, kind of moving them around and everything. They're getting ready to move into a new house and everything, and so I've been given a droid. I'm very excited. It's like the first one that I helped him build, and we took around and everything. The one that we took to Celebration, actually. It has a panel that's signed by a bunch of different Star Wars actors. So I get to have that, and I'm over the moon about it. So,
dude, that's awesome.
So Heather, I'll let you play with it when we come to Chicago. So, other than that, I think that's it. I'm disappointed in myself. Normally, I've done more Star Wars by now. The week's still early.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, that's good. Aaron, anything happening with you, my friend?
Well, as you know, it's been pretty busy as a student. The last week has basically been one prolonged scream. So
a Wilhelm scream?
Pretty much, yeah. Does cooking count?
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. I've been with whatever time I can eke out. I've started to take some online cooking courses, and I'll send you guys a picture, but I cooked up a mighty fine T-bone steak tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, I cooked it up real nice. I made a balsamic vinegar sauce with all the left behind stuff. Then roasted up a mixture of broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots in the same pan. So I got all that flavoring, and
look at you.
It was absolutely delicious. I could not believe how good it was.
Maybe we should just change this to Aaron's Cooking Corner.
Right.
Hey, I would not be opposed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Heather, what's going on with you?
Oy vey. Yeah, not sadly a whole lot. I had a major work event that sort of sucked my life away. But the Han got mailed out to our lucky winner. So I promised Austin from my work a shout out because he's the one who actually put it in the mail for me because of my chaos. So thanks, Austin. But
and it's coming to you, Brian. Brian is our winner. So that's good. That's awesome.
But probably my favorite Star Wars thing that happened was I was in line at Starbucks for my coffee because and I happened to have my arm extended out, and so my R2 tattoo was in full view, and the two Starbucks baristas were like freaking out about it. They thought it was amazing. So I felt really good about myself in the moment.
Wow, that's good. That's
That's all I got, though.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So. Yeah, that's great. For me, Todd? I got in the mail. It was part of my birthday spending for me. Is that I got these electro binoculars that you see like Luke use on Hoth.
Whoa!
I got them 3D printed. So that will be added to my Stormtrooper kit relatively soon. So I got to paint it and glue it and all that kind of stuff. But
wow,
now I got some binoculars.
You're so cool,
that's dude. Awesome. It's a option. Yeah,
is that 501st approved?
No, I'm just doing it myself, man. They're legit. I mean, they're legit like 3D printed from the actual design. So. They're legit. So usually you see those on Sand Troopers, but I'm going to add it to my TK kit. So
nice.
There you go.
So there
you go.
All in a day's work, you know. So there you go. All right. Moving on to Twitter Trash Compactor.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell. Get in there and don't worry about it.
All right, so this segment is we kind of do a Twitter poll every week about what we talked about last week. So last week we talked to Brendan about his TK 630 fan film. And so the question was, according to the 501st, what is the correct designation for a biker scout? So for those who are unfamiliar with this, this all started with TK421. Why aren't you at your post? So a TK is for stormtroopers. Okay. So there's a TK. So we had four little answers you can choose from. So TK, a BS, a TB, or an SB. So, so TB got 50%. And that is correct. So,
some people were paying attention.
Yes, some people were paying attention because, of course, I had to be the guy in the room telling Brendan, like, a biker scout is not a TK. All right. So, TK even though they haven't officially Star Wars hasn't officially come out with it, but it basically means Trooper Corp for, it's kind of like a German take on Corp. So, is TK. And so there's like a TD is a storm, sand trooper, which kind of means like a trooper dirty, or, it's kind of that one. TI is like a TIE fighter, or short for TIE. And like a clone trooper is a CT. So there's a bunch of different ones, but a biker scout is called TB, which is a trooper biker. That's what it means. So now you learned, now you're woke. So now you kind of know, like a Sith Lord is SL for, Sith Lord, bounty hunters, a BH. So some of them are pretty straightforward. But yeah, a biker scout is actually TB. So, I had to call Brendan out last week when we were talking to him, like, yeah, TK 630. It's, if you're having a biker scout in the film, it's not technically not, TK.
Nerd alert.
Actually,
whatever technicalities, us Star Wars nerds, so, but there you go. So we will definitely, check it out every week. We will have a poll up for, I know Aaron says nothing comes good out of Twitter, but at least answer our Twitter poll and prove Aaron wrong.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
There you go.
Right. Be the change agent. That's right. All right, Heather, why don't you wrap us up?
Yeah, I'll put a bow on this thing. Friends, thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. Please check us out on social media. That's WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. And we still want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail message, 630-557-WSTR, 630-557-9787. Leave us a voicemail about either your Star Wars Celebration story or what you're looking forward to at the Chicago one, and we'll play it on an upcoming podcast. You can catch all of our episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. Got to get all those W's in there.
Lots of them.
And then we got merch. So go to teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media for tees and mugs and hoodies and stickers and anything else we think about. So teespring.com/stores/WSTR Media. And we want to give a super special thanks to Danny and Kristen for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much.
So tell us where our friends can become your friends and find you on social media.
Wow, that's a lot of friends.
It's a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Sure, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Kessel Run Weekly. We also have a website, kesselrunweekly.com, where you can find all of our stuff there as well. And we're on iTunes and all the things. So yeah, we have a show out every single week, hence weekly. And
wow, it's in the name.
So yeah, but thank you guys so much for having us. We had a great time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Danny, give me your elevator speech of what Kessel Run Weekly is all about.
So Kessel Run Weekly, it's a weekly Star Wars podcast where we like to dive into
I get it.
Where we like to dive into the story of the real deep story behind Star Wars. So going into character discussions and things like that, and really kind of putting together all the conspiracies and the theories and just the overall fun and positivity about it. Because, I mean, who wants to be negative? There's a lot of that out there. So we just have fun with it. We laugh at ourselves. We laugh at Star Wars. And we just have a great time. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well,
Kristen, did he nail that speech or what? Did he nail that?
He did. That was pretty on point there, sir.
She made me practice it in the mirror before we started.
I sure
I'm
did.
just kidding.
Say it again.
Exactly. Do it again. No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna plug you guys too, because like you guys laugh a lot, you have a lot of fun, you do a lot of positive things, and like you said, Danny, there's a lot of negative stuff out there, so it's always good to find some positivity, and you guys definitely exude that. And sometimes you guys go down some rabbit holes. Kristen has to wheel you back there, Danny, but
you know me and my theories, Todd.
You guys are great. I know. You guys are great. And so, hey, why don't you, real quick, why don't you tell us what you guys are doing in October?
For October, yes. So we are doing Monster Madness Month, where we're kind of going into the spooky, creepy kind of side of Star Wars. We kicked the month off with Ghost and Visions, talking about Dagobah, Yoda's first encounter with Qui-Gon. Kind of, it wasn't intended, but it kind of gave, the more we talked about it, it kind of seemed more like a Paranormal Activity episode. So it was like, cool, that works. This week, this Wednesday, actually, we are going to be discussing the Clone Wars episode Brain Invaders, where a lot of the clone troopers get this nasty little worm that likes to take them over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be awesome. So we're talking that all month long. And then we're also doing reviews for Star Wars Resistance. Our first review is up already.
Cool.
And our next one will be Monday this time as well. So yeah, got a lot of cool stuff going on this month.
Cool. Awesome. Great.
Perfect. Well, I think that's all the ways to get a hold of us and all the ways to get a hold of you guys. And I think that's everything. So next week, episode 93, just so much closer to episode 100.
So close to 100.
We're almost there.
We're going to have David Triana from Followers of the Force. So that'll be fun to kind of just keep making podcasty friends. So for those who've been listening and for our guests, if you know us at all, you'll know how we end this. So here we go. Now this
is
podcasting.